Hello, hey, how everybody doing? This is Free, founder of the 40 Strong. Back at you. We got a little bit of some update news, different things going on. We are going to get ready to start our 40 Minutes with 40 platform, season 2. We already did season 1, so if you don't have it, you can probably reach out to us on the Gmail at the40strong at gmail.com and put attention Tirza, Tirzah, and just say, hey Tirza, can you please send me season 1 of the 40 Minutes with 40 platform interviews and content. So, we have been taking a short break, as everyone knows. If you don't know, early April, our 40 Strong Day was April the 6th. And at that time, I thought it was best for everyone to just kind of, rest, recharge, because a lot of times the beginning of the year comes with so much, what's going on in the General Assembly, what laws are passing, what's going on here, did anything get through the Senate? So when you're doing that, and we've been working pretty much for 5 years straight, with the exception of maybe one break along the way I can remember, it can get exhausting, and I was exhausted. Like, I literally was mentally, emotionally drained, especially after dealing with the situation at River North and that lockdown. So this month has been a blessing. I'm thankful to God for strength. I'm thankful to Him for recharging me, for giving me, just new ideas, new vision. And I'm very appreciative for the rest. And, it feels like now, so here's a story. So the last 3 or 4 days, I guess maybe a week, I've been talking to my son, Malik, and reaching out to Tiz, and like, I might get back to work, and, they're ready, they're supportive. But I didn't know when. So I guess last weekend I was like, maybe I'll work this week, and, cause you don't want to do anything if you're not led, if you don't really have true motivation and good intention. So this is not nothing you want to just jump back into because lives are involved, different things. So anyway, I was like, yesterday I was like, okay, I feel like I feel like my creative juices is flowing. Maybe I'll start back tomorrow. So today I woke up, I started to format some ideas of some shows that I want coming up. And I'm like, okay, I'm back to work. So I announced it, hey y'all, I'm back to work, I'm ready, let's go, let's make some change, let's create some freedom, let's do something positive with reform. So, unbeknownst to me, I guess around 10 o'clock, my cell was opened, and I was like, wow, what is going on? This is boom, listen. So when I look out, I see the warden, I see the major, I see the unit manager, and there was another guy, dress shirt, unassuming, sitting at the tables. I'm like, man, I know I ain't did nothing because I'm chilling. I ain't did nothing. I ain't hurt nobody. Like, I'm all about peace. So my initial thing is maybe this is something about the 40 Strong. Maybe I sent the email. I don't know. I didn't do anything wrong. I've never been disrespectful or nothing. So when I go down the steps, the gentleman in the shirt introduces himself to me, say, hey, Mr. Henson, how you doing? I'm saying, hey, give me a handshake. He said, well, I'm the Western Regional Director, and I was sent down by Director Walters and other people at the department. We all seen your RISE reentry proposal, which is a reentry proposal that I did. First was reentry to rebuild, which is pretty much the men and women returning to their communities could be used to paint schools, fix up their communities, fix on houses, debilitated homes, different things like that. So then I came with the RISE proposal about a month ago before I went on, the hiatus, the 30 days of rest. And he was just like, they loved it, and can we talk? So of course I'm like, yes. But the thing about being something sprung on you is that you can't panic. So in that moment, I don't have my notes. I don't have the proposal because that was on JPay. They took out JPay, so all of my work is done on JPay, but it's in my heart. So I didn't panic. I was just like, let's go. And when I tell you we sat there for the better part of an hour, 15 minutes, it had to be. It was at least an hour, 15, maybe an hour and 30 minutes. And we literally went back and forth about reentry. And he went through my proposal. He asked me questions. I asked him questions. We went back and forth. I mean, it was beautiful. One of the best meetings I've had since I've been in reform. And he was just so, like, enthused. And he was like, well, whatever you want to try to do, write it down. What would it look like? What would your reentry look like? Would you be willing to run a reentry? And all of these things. And, I didn't jump out there because I know my responsibilities. But I did tell him I would write up a proposal about how a reentry should be operated, the motivation that's needed, the resume building, the mock interviews, demeanor, erasing all of the garbage that we've learned in prison, all of the tough stuff, and I gotta be real, and I gotta be this. All of these things will have to be done for a person to really be solid returning to their community. And a lot of people have family and people to support them, but some people don't have family support, so they're basically dependent on themselves once they're released to make a life for themselves. So the meeting was wonderful. He told me to get everything to him on his desk, no later than tomorrow or Thursday. I agree to that. I'm ready to work. So it just goes to show you that this whole 30 days I've been resting. And the day that I say I'm going back to work, the Western Region Director pops up to talk about my proposal. And it felt good. It felt like, wow, like the work. I've had many meetings. I've been a liaison with ACLU. I've done General Assembly days, so much along this journey, but you never get to sit with the regional director. I've never seen a regional director, anyone of that ilk come into a facility and call someone to a table and sit and talk for an hour and a half. I've never seen it. So the guys in the pod, they come out, what was that? What's going on? Because, they know I stay active and busy on positive things. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful to God for the opportunity, and I am going to put my foot in this proposal. I'm going to do my best to represent reentry guys well, to make sure that they can get the resources that they need. I spoke about putting computers in the reentry pods. They don't have to have the internet. So I'm like, it's 2026, and we have to equip the men and women that are incarcerated in Virginia with the tools that they'll need to be successful. We can't look at reentry as, just put them in the pod, let's have a group once a day, and that's it. There is a responsibility that goes into returning someone to society, to their family. And when I propose RISE, which is a hyper-intense, high-intensity program, which entails group meetings, group projects, contests, mock interviews, like I said, all of these things that kind of prepares you for what you're going to face. Even becoming acclimated to technology. So if you have a person who's been locked down 20, 30 years, that takes us back to 1996, I would guess. Technology has quadrupled since then. The World Wide Web and all of this AI technology and phones and this. So people have to have these tools, the basic tools to go out. There are no more paper applications. How do you sign up? So that's pretty much what happened. It's been beautiful, and I'm very thankful. And what I noticed was he was intently listening. It wasn't like, I don't know how sometimes you can be in these type of situations with those in authority and they can kind of look down on you or feel like you're not qualified to be at the table. And I didn't feel that way. So, yeah, that's good news, and I'll keep y'all posted, and I didn't want to get all into that. So the whole purpose of me kind of bringing y'all up to speed on now is just saying that stay ready. And even if you're not ready sometimes, you just go with it. And you just go back to your heart and your training and all of those things. So I'm thankful. So moving forward, We are about to get that 40 minutes with 40 crank back up. We're going to have 40 Strong News coming to you. We're going to have redemption stories coming to you. And more importantly, we're about to open up this week, I guess maybe Friday or Saturday, with our first interview of the juvenile redemption stories, because there is a spiritually debilitating issue in Virginia with giving juveniles second chances. These juveniles are men now, 40, 50 years old. You know, I talk to them, and I've been wanting to do something on juveniles and parole for about a year now, but I was never in the right pod with enough stories to really highlight it in the right way, you know, because you want to get as many stories as possible that can kind of give a overview of the issue. So I just happen to be in a position now where it's like 3 or 4 guys, maybe 5, who have this story of being 15, 16 years old, did something stupid, something they had no idea they were doing as a 15, 16-year-old, and 40 years for one guy, over 50 years later, they're still in prison. So I have a obligation to highlight their story, so please look out for that. We're going to have our first story coming up. Great guy. We've talked a few times about his situation, so I'm not going to give too much away, but stay tuned for those, the juvenile redemption stories. And so much more in season 2. Like I said, if you don't have season 1 of 40 Minutes with 40, please reach out to us at the40strong@gmail.com. Attention Tirza, Tirzah. Say, hey Tirza, please send me that first season of 40 Minutes with 40. We'll be doing some shout outs to organizations. If you have an organization and you have an event coming up, please let me know. Shoot us something that we can share on our Facebook and on our website. We do want to do that more, highlighting the work of the other organizations, which there are great organizations. We worked with countless organizations over the years, and we have a lot of respect for them. I do have a quick alert for Fishback parole eligibility. This is from RIHD, Ms. Kennedy, Lily Branch Kennedy, one of my mentors. Ms. Kennedy has been doing great work in reform for well over 2 to 3 decades now. So she sent this to us, and I want to kind of put this out there. Fishback parole eligibility. Do you have a family member, loved one, or friend of yours incarcerated in a Virginia State prison who may be eligible for parole under the 2020 Bill SB 793 or the 2026 Bill HB 193 through Fishback law? Mark your calendar and prepare your questions and concerns. The RIHD Inc. is inviting you to a scheduled Zoom meeting. Topic: Fishback parole eligibility laws, SB 793 2020, HB 193 2026. Date: Friday, May 29th, 2026. Let me say that again. Date: Friday, May 29th, 2026, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Online Zoom meeting. Please reach out. The phone number is this. This is the Zoom phone number, though. It's 646-931-3860. It's 646-931-3860 or 301-715-8592. That's 301-715-8592. The passcode 617673. I'm going to say that one more time. You can replay this too, so don't worry about it. 617673. And that's by Miss Kennedy. And she's been working on the Fishback law, which, if someone doesn't know what Fishback is, it was guys who were given trials, I believe between 1996 and 2000, maybe 2001, in a 4 to 5 year span. I hope I'm saying it right. But this is, this will get you where you need to be. And these men who went to trial and were found guilty were sentenced, and the jury were not informed that parole had been abolished, which we all know parole was abolished July 1st, 1995, which has been a major issue for over 30 years now. But their jury was not informed that parole had been abolished, so they gave them exorbitant amounts of time thinking they would make parole, and they didn't. So the Fishback law was brought into effect through a ruling that these men should be parole eligible and go up for parole. But the problem is they do go up for parole, but they don't get it. So it's like, okay, you denied me a fair sentence, you give me parole, but you don't want to give me parole. So that's by Miss Kennedy. Much love to Miss Kennedy, Lily Branch Kennedy at RIHD, and this is the number in case you want to reach out to support her on this. Is 804-426-4426. 804-426-4426, and the Gmail is RIHD23075. 23075 RIHD23075 at gmail.com. So if you have any announcements, anything coming up, events, please shoot it to us. I can announce it on here. And one thing about it is we do put this on our Facebook, but we also send it to over probably close to, 1,500 contacts everywhere in the country, different states, a lot of different reform, delegates, senators, we shoot it everywhere. So thank y'all again. Please look out for the new 40 Minutes with 40 shows. They coming up. We're going to grind for y'all. We got some new newscasters, some guys that's going to come out and do the news for you. We're going to do some, like I said, some redemption stories. We're going to do what's coming up next in 2027. We're going to do a debate where we're going to have two guys debate certain things about reform. We're going to have a winner of that. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Can't forget that. Much love to all the mothers who really bear the burden of incarceration and missing a loved one. So we want to do that too. So have a great time. We'll see you soon. Look out for us maybe Thursday or Friday with our first juvenile redemption story. These are going to be great stories, and we need your support. So this is your 40 Minutes with 40 update, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day. Keep your head up.